How can we keep our mental and emotional ship stable when we are cast adrift on a stormy sea of turbulent feelings and waves of emotions? Well, we cast an anchor, of course. I'm Lena from Lightsome Hearts LLC, and one of my favorite things to do is teaching people how to create their own anchors. Anchors that can hold their mental and emotional ship stable even amidst the most tumultuous, chaotic waves of circumstances. Just like a physical anchor works to keep a ship stable on the ocean, we can create and cast emotional anchors to keep our metaphorical mental and emotional ship stable, even amidst a chaotic storm of emotions and circumstances surrounding us. So let's talk a little bit about what anchors are and how we can use them to our advantage. Because we are actually creating anchors all the time, whether intentionally or unintentionally. For most of us, this is unintentional. So if you don't learn about anchors and learn how to create your own anchors, there's a good chance that anchors are controlling you, perhaps in ways that you don't want. There may be certain circumstances, people, situations, or places that cause you to instantly feel grief, fear, or stress. Perhaps when you go past a certain place or drive past it in your car, or maybe even when you get an email from a certain person or hear someone's voice or even just hear their name, you can immediately feel your muscles tighten and feel a sense of stress, or even worse, fear, or maybe anger. It's likely that you've been triggered by a negative anchor. Then, on the other hand, perhaps you have some wonderful positive anchors. Maybe there's a certain song that every time you hear it on the radio, you feel a sense of joy. You smile to yourself maybe every time you hear a loved person's voice, even if just hearing their voice over the phone. Maybe that reminds you again of what it's like to be with them and to feel their warmth as you hug them, to see the smile on their face, to feel that sense of love bursting from your heart. And maybe just hearing their voice, even across the miles, can trigger that happy feeling in you again, like they're right there with you. And that's a positive anchor. We want more of those, right? Well, you can absolutely set your own positive anchors. And here's some really good news. Very strong positive anchor with practice can overcome those negative anchors that had been holding you back. So let's talk some more about anchors. What is an anchor exactly? There's something that you see, that you hear, that you touch or feel, that you smell, or that you taste. And whenever you take in this with your senses, it triggers that emotional state. It's an anchor that causes that emotional state to come right back to you instantly. You probably remember the idea of an external stimulus being associated with an internal response or feeling from the Pavlov experiment that involved the dogs that began to associate the sound of the dinner bell with a feeling that of hunger and salivating, because they every time they heard the dinner bell, they were served food. And they began to believe then that when they heard the dinner bell, that food was coming. So they associated that external stimulus of hearing the dinner bell with the internal response of salivating for food. Anchors are set when you associate something you see, hear, touch, smell, or taste with a very strong emotional response. Again, positive or negative. Here's an example of a negative anchor. We want less of those, definitely. So let's say that there is a certain place that you have to go to. And I don't want to give you any specifics because you can instantly figure that out for yourself. So you go to this place, And every time you go there, it is very stressful. And the things that happen to you there cause you a sense of fear or grief, or maybe even anger or sadness. And now let's just say that you are just driving past that place. You don't have to go there today, but you're driving past it in your car. And as you look and you see this place that you have seen every time that you've gone there, now just driving past, seeing it, maybe hearing it, instantly you start to feel your muscles tighten with the stress. Maybe they're clenching in that anger, or maybe your eyes are beginning to water with the tears from the grief that you felt in this place. Even though you are just looking at it, you're not even going inside, you're just driving past and feeling perhaps a strong sense of wanting to avoid it. But maybe this is a place that you can't avoid and a circumstance that you can't avoid right now. So you have to deal with it. Sometimes you have to go there, but I bet it's a lot harder to go there and deal with it when every time you even get close, every time you just so much as see the building, you instantly are entering a state of fear, stress, grief, sadness, or some kind of negative state. Maybe even just hearing the name of it and associating that name with it is causing you stress and overwhelm. So that's definitely an anchor that you need to overcome, right? Because you need sometimes to go to this place and deal with the circumstances that you have to deal with there. And if you are stuck in a state of overwhelm or fear, you're in that fight or flight mode, that is not a good thinking state. That's not the best state to operate from and come up with good ideas and good decisions and project your best self. So you need to overcome that negative anchor, and you could do that by setting a very positive anchor, practicing with that positive anchor to make it stronger and stronger, and then bringing out, or let's say casting that positive anchor whenever you need to go to that place that you don't like and deal with those circumstances and take
Here's
care
an
of business.
example of a positive anchor.
Let's say that as a child, whenever you would visit a loved family member's house, you would instantly, when you walk in the door, smell the smell of freshly baked cookies. Let's just say chocolate chip cookies, just for fun. They could be gluten-free if you want. They don't have to. This is your imagination. Okay, so you walk in that door of the loved family member's house, and there's that smell of those freshly baked cookies. And that family member loves you so much that you can feel their love. Every time you visit them, you have a wonderful time. You enjoy being with them. You're just filled with a sense of love every time you see them. And every time you see them, you smell these chocolate chip cookies. And perhaps you even taste those chocolate chip cookies. So now we're engaging two of the senses, which is always stronger if an anchor can engage more than one of our senses. So we've got smell and taste of the chocolate chip cookies associated with this positive state of love and joy that you experience every time you visit this loved person. Now, here you are years later, and you walk into a bakery, let's say, and they are making the exact same cookies, and the smell of those cookies hits you. Maybe you even taste those cookies. And you instantly feel filled with that same love and joy that you felt when you were enjoying the smell and taste of those cookies with your beloved family member. And that is a positive anchor. Those cookies, the smell and the taste of those cookies has now become an anchor for you that instantly brings you back to a sense of love and joy. So we're going to talk now about exactly how you can set a positive anchor for yourself intentionally so that you can call upon it whenever you need to or want to. And we're going to do a little practice session with this in the next video. So stay tuned with me. Come on over to the next video and let's have some more fun with creating and casting anchors.